Hello everybody, welcome to Fruity Paradise Island with Denise. Today we'll be making a recipe. It is my delicious cookies that I've been eating almost every day, just a few to keep me satisfied. They are high carb, low fat, raw, vegan squash cookies. Okay, so you can choose any kind of squash you want. Here I have little ones that I chose because I don't want to be making a huge recipe or making other recipes. So by using a smaller squash, I make the recipe and there's nothing left. You can choose spaghetti squash, butter, cup squash. You can use a pumpkin. I call this a flower squash. I don't know what it is, but it's beautiful and it's delicious. Golden health squash, deep orange flesh, so good. And a corn squash, I looked up the name, I didn't know it in English, so it's a corn squash. You can use butternut squash, that's what I used last time, and it was delicious. But for today, I'll be making pumpkin cookies. So I chose a little pumpkin. The skin was still green, okay, so it's not completely ripe, and that's why I chose to use it early in the season, because it will not preserve it. Since it's not ripe. I already chopped up my squash. Okay, I used everything, the seeds, the inside. Not my squash, my pumpkin. So it turned out to give me a good 7 cups. It's going to be a big enough recipe. I'll go puree this pumpkin and I'll be back to continue the rest of the recipe. See you in a bit. Okay, so once it's pureed, I gave 4.5 cups of pumpkin puree. I'll pour it into a bowl. It seems much more liquid than my butternut squash. Maybe it's because I left the seeds on the inside. Anyway, we'll try to thicken it up with the rest of the ingredients. For the rest of the recipe, it is exactly what you want in it. You decide, you choose. Okay, so you can put the spices you want. I'll go with cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves. Last time I didn't put the cloves, but I'll put a little bit. I want to make a difference since I've been having the same cookies for 2 weeks now. Okay, last time I put chopped apricots and chopped figs. These dried figs are so good. The apricots were kind of dry. I should have soaked them because I had a really hard time chopping them, but I didn't because I didn't want it to take even longer to dehydrate. But anyway, so I have those, and I also had put a bit of shredded coconut and sliced almonds. I won't put the coconut today, so I'll make it a bit different. How much apricots did I chop up? Not that much, about half a cup. Put that in there. I would say there's about 3/4 cups of chopped dried figs. Okay, then today I'll make it a bit different. I'll add some dried cranberries, give beautiful color. So since they're no work, I'll put a bit more, maybe 3/4 cups of dried cranberries. And why not some dried raisins? There are sun-dried raisins. So I'll go with a little bit more than half a cup of that. So as you can see, it's a lot of dried fruit. I know, that's why you must not splurge on these cookies, but they're very good to have a little sweet at the end of the meal, especially when you're eating out with people that are having cheesecake or pastries, donuts. You know, you have this and you feel good and you feel happy. The sliced almonds will put a bit of fat into your recipe. You decide if you want to or not. I like it because it gives a bit of a crunch. So in that whole recipe, which will give a lot of cookies, I'll put 3/4 of a cup of raw sliced almonds. Okay. Mix this up. I forgot my spices. We'll start with the cinnamon. A teaspoon of cinnamon. Maybe a bit more. Cinnamon's one of my favorite little sweet spices. Nutmeg. How much shall we put? Ooh. Almost a teaspoon. And nevertheless, the ground cloves. So this is gonna be like really good for Thanksgiving. Mix this all up really well. I am aware that some of my dried fruit is not the best quality. It has sulfates in it. They have sulfates, I know, but I do have them. I forget if my mom gave them to me or if I bought them like for a good price, and I do want to use them up. Okay, we do what we can. We're at the level we're at. I still believe this dessert will be good for me. So it's kind of liquid. I think I might add some ground flax seeds in it. Okay, it will make it higher in fat, but it's going to keep it more together. I have in here organic ground flax seeds. I'll put a half a cup. Here we go. See, now this wasn't planned in the recipe. We go as it goes on. Yeah, oh yes. So I'll let this stand for a few minutes. Let it absorb. And then I'll be scooping cookie size cookies onto my flex sheet on the tray of the dehydrator. I'll be back soon. So the milk flaxseed does have a good effect on it. And I have forgotten an ingredient. I just tasted it and it's missing a bit of sweetness. So you can put whatever sweetener you want or none if you don't want. I do use delicious organic local maple syrup. This is A quality besides, really light, really good. So I will put half a cup in this whole recipe to sweeten it up. According to me, maple syrup is one of the best sweeteners that you can have, even if it was boiled. Okay. So I left my batter in the refrigerator for about a half hour, permitted it to get thicker. And I'll taste. Very good. There seems to not be that much spices, but don't forget that when it dehydrates, the flavors get more enhanced. Okay, so I'll scoop them on. About this size, not that big. You make them the size you want. And I'll be back to tell you how many cookies I will have in this recipe. It gave me 35 cookies. Finally, I made them big enough, like maybe almost 2 tablespoons per cookie, but they get smaller when they dehydrate. So I put it on 2 trays. They look really, really good, and they smell really good. And my daughter tasted the batter, and she says they're really good. So I'm going to put them in the dehydrator at 115 for we'll see how many hours, probably quite a few hours. Then I'll turn them around, take off the Teflix paper, and continue letting them dehydrate. I like keeping them moist, not too dry. So the cookies have been in the dehydrator for 6.5 hours. The house smells so, so good. Look at them, they're beautiful. So what I'll do is put another dehydrator tray without the sheet over it. Flip it over. And pull off the sheet. Okay. Some fruit. And dehydrate them another couple hours. This side. And they're still very moist, as you can see. Okay, here are my 35 raw vegan cookies. Well, almost all raw, except for the maple syrup. But you get what I mean, right? You could have used the coconut sugar, raw honey if you're not vegan or whatever. I just use maple syrup. So actually they're 34 because I left them for another 12 hours. So the whole night in the dehydrator, and at 5:30 when I got them out this morning, they were warm and they smelled so good. And so now they're cooled off, but if you have people come over for tea and you want to serve them these cookies, I recommend that you put them in the dehydrator a bit to have them warm. And plus we're going to want to keep them in the fridge since they're still very moist, okay? If you want to keep them for a while, they have to be in the fridge. Oh, look at this. Divine. Okay, friends. So I highly recommend that you make these cookies for you, for your family, for your friends, for you. Awesome. I'm repeating myself, but they are just too wonderful. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me your comments and share this video so that more people can have a vegan lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle, and enjoy it. Thank you so much for being with me. And now, go make yourself cookies. Bye, everyone.